Well, hello there. How is everyone? I hope you're all well. You amazing, amazing, beautiful, wonderful people. It is Tuesday? Is it Tuesday? I think it's Tuesday. We'll roll with that. So we will roll with that. If I'm right, I'm right. That will be a first. If I'm wrong, it's just normality. We're going to get straight into the meat and potatoes, as this may be, unless something spectacular comes out. Spectacular. This may be the last Jay Slater video that I actually do. We'll see. Like I say, if other stuff comes out, then we'll do it. But I'm going to put it to bed. I'm going to talk about what I think happened. I'm going to talk about where the lies actually started, or what I am deeming as lies. We're going to talk about the public's thoughts on Jay Slater's mum during a recent darts match, and ultimately the legacy that has been left and who has pretty much been the cause of that legacy. So look, what do we know about the Jay Slater case? We know that Jay Slater went to Tenerife to attend the NRG festival with some friends. He would go to this festival, go to this event, and he would seemingly leave that event after becoming split up from his friends and going to another property for really unknown reasons. It is being widely reported wrongfully, saying that he was actually staying at this Airbnb with these two guys, when in fact it would have been around 5:30 a.m. approximately that he arrived there, and it would have been around 7:30 a.m. that he left there. So the questions surrounding why he actually went there in the first place seem to be somewhat unclear. But there's various reports from he went there to after party, crap party, I will say, crap party. But who knows? We'll never know, and it has been officially deemed that the people he went there with have no relevance to the case whatsoever. I don't know how you can conclude that. I don't think Columbo would have concluded that at all. I think he'd have been going back and having a chat. But look, it is what it is. It's been deemed that Jay Slater very likely had an accidental fall. Do I think he had an accidental fall? Do I fuckers like? I don't think Jay Slater had an accidental fall. Now, that can come across as two ways. That can be that Jay Slater did fall, but there was contributory factors to it, which meant that he wasn't truly paying attention to what the fuck he was doing. And again, that has branches off that as well, because that could be that he went there to this after party and was given something that then meant that he was not really in his right mind. And if that's the case, if he went somewhere with some people who promised him something, yeah, come with us, boy, we'll give you some good shit, and he was given some good shit that turned out to be bad shit, and that contributed to his death, then I don't then think that the people who he went to this property with have no relevance to what happened to Jay Slater. What we're trying to establish here is Jay Slater goes to this property, he leaves of his own volition with no pressure whatsoever. He's just like, he's had enough. He went there, he was promised one thing, and perhaps he was offered something else that didn't marry up. It's like when you go on holiday, you look in a brochure, don't you? And you're shown this hotel that looks fucking wonderful. It's got bars, it's got fucking everything. And then you get there and it doesn't look like the pictures in the brochure. And you're like, well, look, you said this was 5-star and it's actually 2-star. And I ain't staying. And that could have been it. But then you have to think, oh, how did this person, who was okay then, 100% compass mentis, how did he make the decisions? Why did he make the decisions that would ultimately lead to him falling down a fucking ravine? You know what I mean? That is the bit that confuses me. I can't understand it. You're going to be walking along and looking where you're going. If you're walking on uneven ground on this kind of stuff, you're going to be looking at where you're walking, aren't you? That's just it. If I'm walking on uneven rough terrain and there's cactuses that are biting me and all sorts of shit, then I'm going to be like, whoa, walk there, and I'm going to see a ravine coming towards me, and I'm going to be like, I'm not going to walk down there because I could fall, unless I'd taken something, as aforementioned, that meant that I perhaps was R. Kelly in it. I believe I can fly, and he couldn't. But where did all the lies start? Where did they start? And we're going to just go back very briefly to the GoFundMe. There is a GoFundMe if you didn't know that already. Yeah, there's a GoFundMe, which is currently sitting at 72,804 of the British pence, which has been raised to assist in finding Jay Slater initially. We don't know what's remaining of it, what's been removed from it. This just tells you how much has been earned. In total, I know there's some confusion over a 50,000 approximately amount being given to the Norwegians, which that's shite. But also we've got the stories of the mum coming forward and saying, look, we would like you to continue donating as we would like to give Jay, our son, the send-off he deserves. Poor choice of words, because being deserved of a certain thing in this situation, I believe it deserves the parents to be funding his funeral fully, because he is ultimately their son. And I believe that this is kind of, and I'm going to get some hate for this, and I'll put this, how can I put this? I don't give a fuck. I think this is rarely tweaking on people's heartstrings somewhat, because the public have kind of fallen in love with this story, and there's a lot of decent people out there, I've said it before, and they will continue to donate, and I now believe that this has gone into the realms of you are taking advantage of people and their kindness. But yeah, so hi everyone, my name is Lucy. Hi Lucy. I have come on holiday to Tenerife to attend the NRG festival with my friend Jay and another friend. On the last day of the festival, I left alone earlier than anyone else because I was tired from the weekend. I woke up to a phone call off Jay at 8:30 a.m. saying he was lost in the mountains, he wasn't aware of his surroundings, he desperately needed a drink, and his phone was on 1%. He had met two people on Sunday night, leaves out the bit that apparently these were people who were associates of hers. She leaves that bit out. Apparently this is now Jay's fault, which seems to be the common occurrence here, where everybody around this lad have put the blame solely upon him. This is Jay's fault. Everything that Jay did and the decisions he made, the way he went, is all Jay's fault. Even here, it was detachment from any form of connection. And the connection that seems to have been made is the people who Jay went, he didn't meet them off his own back. They were people who were associates to Lucy. Now, that could be lies, but that seems to be the case. So, and left with them to go to their apartment. Their apartment was miles away from civilization and in a very secluded location. So, she doesn't know who these people are. Apparently, Jay's the one who met them while she wasn't there because she'd already gone home because she was tired. Jay then phones her and has a conversation that must have included all of this information. All of this information. They've took me. I've gone to this property. It's away from civilization. It's in very secluded. With 1%, he got a fucking lot of information across. I'm telling you that. So there we go. So, and then we continue. He left at 8 a.m. So he's told her exactly what time he left. And walked half an hour before frantically ringing me when his phone reached 1%. So frantically ringing her. So did she have a load of missed calls? This is back to what I feel a load of people feel, and that is that what happened, and a large proportion of what happened to Jay, will be contained within the phones of everybody. Who was ringing whom? Because it certainly seems that Ayub had a conversation with either Lucy or Bradley. So yeah, I think a lot of information could be kind of determined via looking at phones. Who knows who? That's the question. Who knows who? Why did Jay leave to go to this house at this time of the morning when he could have just hung around and gone back to his own apartment? There was a reason. There was a carrot that was waved on a stick that got him to the Airbnb. It was like, and he went there. But then he gets there wrapped up in Lucy's blanket, or the blanket from Lucy's BME. He's wrapped up in that, and it's clearly his blanket because that Rocky had apparently turned around and said, well, you did see him with his blanket. His blanket. Funny verbiage. So this was 3 days ago now, and no one has seen or heard from him since. His last location was on an off-road track, which was a 10-hour walk from his hotel. His hotel? Well, our hotel. Again, this is detachment. This is when somebody is trying. That's all about the verbiage. The devil's in the detail. This is about detachment. This is, I've got nothing to do with this, even down to his hotel, not our hotel. We're staying there together, our hotel. This was his. This is all his fault. And it's important to understand that. So his hotel. The conditions up there are terrible for someone in shorts and a t-shirt. How the fuck do you know what's terrible up where? You don't even know where he was, really. But anyway, I could be reading into that a little bit too much, couldn't I? The weather conditions up there are terrible for someone in shorts and a t-shirt, both in the day and at night. He has no water for when it's warm through the day, and he has no coat, suitable clothing for when it's cold at night. So she's already succumbed to the fact that he is spending out there days and nights. It was 1 degree and extremely windy when I was out looking in the middle of the night. We are all so worried, and we just want him home. Please help if you can and share far and wide. Thank you for reading. I find it very hard to believe that the temperature dropped down to 1 degree in Tenerife, even at night. I find that very hard. I could be wrong, but this is about now trying to say that this was Jay's fault. He went with people he just met. He's gone to this place. It was in the arse end of nowhere. He's got no phone. He's got the wrong clothes, and he's basically fucked. And that's the be all and end all of it. And this, to me, seems to be where the detachment and the point and the blame all at Jay came from. And what does that help me conclude? What does it help me conclude? It helps me conclude that, the legacy of Jay Slater is one that would seemingly be, a guy goes to a rave event overseas with some friends and makes some really shit decisions and goes off for a walk off-road and falls down a ravine. Job done. End of story. Do I believe that? I don't. His true legacy is that we'll never know, and this entire case has turned into nothing more than a cash grab, an absolute cash grab. The content creators. I've seen some content creators that are literally watching TikTok videos and obtaining nearly 100,000 views. Sitting there like, yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, definitely agree with that. I don't agree with that. No, don't agree with that. That's a good point. Fuck me, man. And I know I'll get some criticism because I'm doing Jay Slater videos. Just to let you know, though, I think 90% of them aren't monetized because they get restricted. You get hit with restrictions. But there we have it. As you saw, people aren't happy with Jay Slater's mum. There was a recent darts event, and they're holding signs about Jay Slater's mum. And, the family have done that to themselves. The family have 100% done that to themselves. The public have played a part in decimating a lot of the case, but people are curious, and this case is fucked. It's been fucked from the start. None of it makes sense whatsoever. It's got more holes in it than a colander, and yet we're just supposed to believe that the narrative, like I say, this idiot goes abroad, goes to a party, goes to this place for apparently 2 hours for unbeknownst reasons, then goes off for a walk and then falls down a ravine because he's not looking at where he's fucking walking. And what is that? What is it? You just got to believe that. Let it go. Let it go. Frozen. I'm off. Let me know what you think. Is there anything else of the Jay Slater case that you want an opinion on? Is there anything else you'd like me to discuss in this case or look at? Let me know down below. If not, we'll put it to bed. I'll catch you on the next one.